I would like to introduce a good client of ours, Keith Watkins. Some of you may be familiar with Keith. He's the Assistant Director of Facilities at New Rochelle School District in New York. He is also the President of the National School Plant Management Association. He is the past President of the New York State School Facilities Association. And Keith was awarded the 2020 Plant Manager of the Year Award. As many of you know, the state of New York has been the hardest hit state in the country from a COVID standpoint, and New Rochelle has been especially hard hit even in the state of New York. And so Keith and his team had to act quickly. They had to come up with new processes, and he's here to talk a little bit about what they did, what has worked well, maybe some challenges they've faced, and some equipment they've used that's helped them be successful through this new normal that we're in now. So Keith, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. I appreciate it. I know I'm on a time limit, so I'll get right to it. Josh Peach reached out to me, and we did one of Josh's illustrious podcasts, so feel free to search that one up. You can kind of get more information about what we did at New Rochelle on his podcast. It was great spending time with him as well. So New Rochelle, a lot of things you want to be known for first and be leaders in, but being the epicenter of COVID is not one of them. We got hit hard and fast, and thankfully we already had a nice and pretty sound, robust cleaning and disinfecting program in place already. We were cleaning 5 nights a week and disinfecting 2 nights a week. We had already implemented 100 electrostatic sprayer handheld units and quite a few backpack units for large areas, and we were using Pure Tabs with our Protexis applicators. So we were well ahead of it and really doing a great job. So once this hit, all we really did was change from a Tuesday, Thursday disinfecting protocol to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We added 1 more night of disinfecting. And then for any weekend use, we went back into those areas that were being used, which of course we track through SchoolDude. We'd go into those areas and we would disinfect those areas so they were ready for Monday. Now, one of the things I was looking at was an antimicrobial coating, and I was looking to implement that this summer, but with COVID, it kind of forced our hand. So we went ahead and did a real thorough cleaning, another disinfecting, and then we applied a BioProtect, an antimicrobial coating, to 1.5 million square feet. We did our playgrounds, we did our fleet vehicles, our kitchens, anything that would stay still long enough, we pretty much coated. Another thing we did is we added a very high MERV rating filter, which basically stands for minimum efficiency reporting value. So basically what that means is we were removing as much of the total suspended particulate in the air as we could. So we really put in a very robust program treating surfaces and air together. So now what we're doing is we're doing our own ATP and particulate meter counts in our environments, so that not only is it justified the money and resources spent on implementing these things, but also the quantifying of it. So is it working? Because that's going to be a huge thing. We're all going to do a lot of things, but you're going to have to justify it more than just verbally. So be prepared to do your own in-house testing as well. I would say that, welcome to Norm. We are currently looking at infrared temperature cameras at all our entrances. So as students and staff enter the building, we can detect if somebody has an elevated temperature, and then we can direct them to the nurse to be checked further so that they don't get further into the building and possibly infect other people. So, I would say have a plan for reoccupying and be ready to answer some serious questions about what have you done. Cleaning and disinfecting is not enough anymore. If you're kind of got at that point where you've cleaned and you're disinfecting, and you think you're done, please do your homework, see what other options are out there. I would say get connected to a professional association such as NSPMA and other local associations. There's a lot of people out there who are working hard to figure out what their plans are. Don't reinvent the wheel, but please don't just clean and disinfect. There's more to do. I would also say, your students, your staff, and your community are counting on you. So as a facilities director, just know you got a lot at stake, and my information's out there. I'd be happy to have a conversation with anybody that wants to talk more. But I would say just get ready, have a plan, and be very proactive, because we're never going to look back and do things the way we used to. So thank you.
Yeah, that's great, Keith. One question I keep seeing come through the chat at the bottom, Keith, and I figure I'll throw this out there to you, is what have you done from a staffing standpoint? I know I've talked to some schools who have sent their technicians home, but their custodial staff are reporting to work, or maybe they're working with reduced custodial or technician staff. What does that look like for you?
Well, we're kind of all over the board. We have 11 school buildings. We have the second largest high school in New York State at 530,000 square feet. We've got 35 staff assigned to that building by itself. We're still distributing Chromebooks and food daily. We have 3 of our schools that were designated as food sites. So our grounds folks and our maintenance folks are rotating in and out, delivering food to those distribution locations. We're doing daily building checks. Some buildings, we're in the middle of a $106 million capital project. So that's been deemed okay. So we have a mixed bag. Some buildings are just getting daily building checks. Some buildings have 2 and 3 people working and assisting with contractors. One of the things we did, which I think is huge, is we have screening sites. We have school nurses that are doing daily screenings. So anybody wishing to report to the buildings on a daily basis have to be screened. They get their temperature checked, they get a few questions, and they get a pass for the day. Very important, because the last thing we want to do is just go backwards and end up right where we were. So mixed bag around the district, but we have a daily building check minimally to 5, 6 staff working in our larger buildings helping with the food distribution.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think the screening is critically important. Obviously, you don't want to reintroduce the virus back in the school district if it was or hasn't been there yet. So that's great. Well, Keith, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. We really appreciate your insight, your expertise. I know you were really thrown into the fire being there in New Rochelle, New York. As you mentioned, you're pretty much ground zero with all of this. So.
Yeah, we and. The things that we've done, antimicrobial in the field, it gives us just a cleaning effect and gives us a 90-day kill rating. But I would say before we closed our have 1 confirmed case in the district. It wasn't until after we closed our doors and kids were away that some of the cases started to be known. But while we were open, you know, and I gotta put it right back on my staff. They're thorough, they're effective, they're proud of what they do. They come in every day charged, ready to work. And I got a great team, and I'm very blessed to have, you know, we got about 90 full-time staff and about 44 part-time staff. So we got over 130 custodial staff alone in our district. And I gotta say, I'm blessed with quite a team. So thank you.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, thank you, Keith. We really appreciate your time today.
All right, I'll listen in. Thanks, guys.